Hello, Dr. Navneet.
Hello, how are you? Am I audible?
Yeah,
Okay,
you are very, very audible. We are
okay,
live on
thank you.
YouTube.
Oh, okay. So, what about the
Greetings to all
students?
yeah, our participants are watching us live on YouTube. Um, Greetings from
Oh,
my
okay,
side. Yeah, we are
okay.
starting now. So I will encourage everyone to get their writing materials ready, your book, your pencil, your pen or your pad, whatever you feel convenient with. So we are having Dr. Navneet on grant now, and he will be introduce the program to us properly. Please, I'm handing over to you, Dr. Navneet.
Thank you, Madam Adibesi, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. And I am really looking forward to our collaboration and also this program. Uh, do we? So I think. I mean, I'm not able to see the participants. I presume they are live now. Maybe I'm okay. So they are maybe you can sort of people are there. I mean, right now live. You are on mute, Adipasi. Hello, can we start now?
We can start now.
Okay. Let me share my screen and my presentation, and then maybe it will be better to see. Can you see my screen, my presentation?
Not yet. I've not been able to see it.
Okay. It
Okay,
is
okay.
saying that.
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay. So can you see the slides moving?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
moving. Yes, yes, I can see the slide.
Okay. Okay. So the way it is, I have these presentation, and also since we have about 90 minutes of this session for each day for our program. So it has to be a little bit interactive also. So how do we do that is we'll sort of figure out maybe, but we'll stop in between any particular question that you have. I hope you can either type or voice your question or comment, and we can stop the presentation, and maybe we can sort of answer that and then continue. I mean, that may work, I presume. So we'll figure out. So I formally would like to welcome everyone to this particular module or the course under what is termed as STEAM: Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics for 100 young African women. And this program has been conceived by Caroline and Krisullis. I think I pronounced the name again. I hope it's okay. And I'm sort of never thought that this will be working in this fashion. So I'm grateful to Caroline and Adibesi and also everyone who has organized this and who has made this available and also offering our program of innovation. And in fact, our company has been running innovation programs as well as innovation consulting and research for last almost 16 plus years. And my personally, I have been in the space of research and innovation for last 30 years plus. So I'm going to introduce and sort of look at how it maybe pan out. And our aim is to give you a flavor of techniques and methods and also the process of how to really do innovation in the broadest sense. And here I must sort of explain, it is not about which particular stream or which particular background you are coming from. Everyone, in our opinion, as well as our experience, can be an innovator. And in fact, in that context, we are saying that there are two basic goals as we move in our journey. You can become what we call the innovation scientist or an innovation artist based on where is your inclination and also where you want to move, and also the paths that will take you to the specific direction that you can define is how the program has been structured, so to say. And it is pretty interactive, and what we are going to look at is maybe a sort of an interactive session in between, maybe second or third or the fourth one, or the all the maybe the even lectures could be interactive, and the odd ones could be lectures type of thing. So that is what we'll figure out, I think, as we go ahead. The idea is to give you some sort of a structured approach, and also the proven methods and techniques for you to think and also understand the world around you, and of course generate uh, ideas which can become potential solutions to the problems, or even identify problems that may be needed, new problems that need to be solved for progress of the world, so to say. In that context, we have multiple flavors, multiple mechanisms, multiple tools, techniques that are part of our repertoire, if you may, of our structure, our tools, our methods, which of course we will be using. But the first 2 weeks, we are going to do what we call a early or a quick innovation project, which is what we will start from today. I'm going to sort of give you a flavor of the whole structure, and also what do we mean by this quick innovation project versus the structured innovation projects that we will do after the first 2 weeks, and the third, fourth, fifth, 6 weeks, and the final 2 weeks we are going to do a real exploratory project which we call the structured innovation project. So the idea is to do the quick innovation project in the first 2 weeks, and in the last 2 weeks we will do a chosen structured innovation project that each one of you can choose. Also, if you want to join as teams, maybe maximum two persons can join as a team and so work together. Or also, you need to be together in some form to work on these problems or these techniques or tools that I'm going to share. Okay, and as you know, this course is free, but nothing in the world is free, right? I mean, so you have to pay attention, and you have to put in genuine effort. That's our major question and major input for you to move ahead towards what we call the innovation scientist and artist. And there, of course, as you complete the requirements that we have of this course, we will give you certificates on specific milestones that we have. And there, of course, there is a journey ahead for us as you grow into this whole area. We will be able to explore better and maybe see different things or different ways and different methods that we will be learning through this journey. So again, a very warm welcome to all of you. And this is part of what we call the school of life, where which is a little bit of a thing, because the college and students schools do not teach us how to learn, although that's the whole idea about how to learn. But there is no specific way about how to learn, how to innovate, how to develop foresight, and how to develop what is called empathy about the world around you. Although these are the four main requirements or main needs of any education system, right? I mean, to learn, to innovate, to have foresight, and to have empathy about what is happening around you. And this is where our mechanism, or all the school of life as we call it, comes into picture, where we will learn to innovate with foresight and empathy. I have my email here as well as my mobile number, which is a WhatsApp number. If you want to communicate, you can communicate through this email. It is navneet.bhushan@graffiti.com. and the number is 9902726961. I am in Bangalore, India. So our I the code is point plus 91. Okay. And also by background, I have about 3 decades of work. I started my career in 1990 as a scientist in an organization called DRDO, Defense Research Development Organization in India, which is a government organization. And then, of course, I moved in various software companies in Bangalore, and also worked in multinational companies before starting our company, which we call the Graffiti Consulting. Uh, uh, I mean, it's an innovation research and consulting company based out of Bangalore, but we work with various clients across the world on different types of different areas or different arenas of innovation. Okay, I have a few books that I have written, and you can sort of search about this. I'm going to share the slides to Adibisi and Caroline. Maybe they will let you know how to access those slides and material that we have. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah. Any question?
No, no, there's no question. I just want to chip in that some of the participants have joined us on StreamYard. So if they have any
Okay,
question, I'll let you know, then I'll bring them up.
okay. Uh, I'm somehow not able to see them. Are you able to see my slides?
Yes, yes. I can see
Okay.
your slide.
Okay, I can see some of the participants also. I can
Yeah,
see you also. Okay, fine.
thank you.
So, anyone who has any question or comment, kindly, I don't know how they can just tell
Yeah,
what they can just speak, right? Okay, so
there is no
we'll,
question.
yeah, any question?
There is no question for now.
Okay, so you are able to see my slides, right?
Yes, I'm able to see your slide now.
Okay, fine. So let me explain what this whole concept of a what we call the innovation crafter is. And innovation in the broadest sense is what we define as some sort of a change creation, which is needed change. How do we create the change that is needed is what we call as innovation, and needed change, which basically brings in a certain value to the stakeholders who are really needing the change, right? So ultimately, how do you create change? But through ideas. So the definition is successful creation of change through ideas, or needed change through ideas, is what we define as a sort of a main definition of innovation. And in that, of course, there are various stages about how do you understand what is required to be changed, and to do that we need a very open mind and open eyes, and which we call, you need to be what we call the simpleton in this process. Simpleton means you need to be open to have curiosity around you about the fact, about the changes that you are seeing, and you need to be curious to understand or absorb these changes that you are seeing, and that requires you to be curious simpleton. And then, of course, once you have understood what is the needed change, what is required to be done, or what is the objective that we should be looking at, then you become as a sort of a person who does the change, which is explore how to do that in a scientific manner. So you become a scientist, and once you have become a scientist, you have solved the problems and also created a conceptual or a technical solution you have created to the specific problem that you have identified. You become a saint of that particular solution that you have, which means that you bring that message of the new change to the world at large, one by one, and so that ultimately we have to bring change to the world at large towards your solution that you have found through the science or the through methods that you have. So this is a sort of a journey from simpleton scientist to saint. But interestingly, once you have solved a particular problem and become a saint of that particular solution that you are carrying with you and telling everyone about this, coming back to become a simpleton again becomes very difficult, which means that if you have become knowledgeable about something, it becomes very difficult to say that you become sort of used to that particular way of looking at things, and those things, those ways of looking at things actually sort of gives you a partial blindness towards a possibility of something different than what you expect in the world at large. So this is where we need to learn to become simpleton again after we have become knowledgeable or very what we call the saint part. So this loop, if you see simpleton, scientist, saint, becoming simpleton again is a continuous journey that all of us have to do, and all of us have to perform. And this sort of a process is what we are calling the innovation crafting process. So I'm going to get deeper into each one of these, and you will get a view of what we are saying about this simpleton becoming scientist and then becoming saint, and then of course again becoming simpleton. Here one specific uh, way to look at is by this quote, which is given by Holmes Jr., which says that I would not give a fig for the simplicity this side of the complexity, but I would give my life for the simplicity on the other side of complexity. So there is a sea of complexity that we are seeing around all of us, and this is not only true for me, you, and everyone else. Also, we actually see lot of complexity around us. When I say complexity, the intertwining of variety of these processes, trends, and variety of these changes that we are seeing around us, it becomes very difficult to understand what is happening. So, if you understand trivially, you will be on this side of complexity. But if you penetrate the complexity by understanding deeper, then you will reach towards the other side of the complexity, which is what he's saying is really the profound simplicity on the other side of complexity that we should be aiming at, or we should be going towards. And that, I think, is the sort of a key to how to reach to the profound simplicity on the other side of complexity, penetrating the layers of complexity that we have, rather than trying to have a trivial simplicity on this side of complexity is what we are aiming at. So beyond shallow and shiny, we need to invent and design towards what we call the profound blissfulness ahead. Okay, and of course, we need to impart these methods and techniques to the leaders who will lead humanity ahead. And in that sense, our whole initiative of designing this course is for leaders, for the young generation who is coming up, or maybe school, college, or going, or in fact, just about entering college, or in fact, about to leave college also. These students can go through this process, and we have sort of seen in multiple experiences and also experiments that we have done, this is really a sort of a shift their mindset towards thinking about the world at large in a very different way. So we'll figure out this, and this is exactly the reason we teach. All of us are taught different subjects: physics, chemistry, economics, or different subjects that are taught in the school. But learning, innovation, foresight, and empathy, as I said, is not being taught. So I think this is an opportunity for us to explore what do we mean by learning, how do we learn to learn, how do we learn to innovate, and how do we learn to develop foresight, and of course empathy around understanding about the world at large. How do we do that? Is there a set process? Is there a structure? Is there a system? Are there specific methodologies that can be utilized? Are there some coursework that we have to do, or some exercises that we can do? I think that is where our whole program has been designed. And of course, we have been experimenting for many years now, and this is the result that we have, our program that we have. Okay, so to do this, to start this, I would request you to write about 2 lines as you, as Madam Adibisi has said that you have the pencils and the pens available. So take a post-it note or a paper that you have and just write down what you think in the next 8 weeks you are going to learn in this course. Okay, write down these 2 lines. I'll just give you 2 minutes or maybe 3 minutes, and then maybe we can start the discussion ahead. Okay, can you write down this?
Okay, I think this is our first exercise. We have to write
Yeah,
down 2 or 3 things that we are hoping, we are envisioning to learn at the end of this.
yeah. We basically need to write down what you think will be learning in this whole program of 8 weeks. I mean, what do you think? These 2 lines you can write down. What do you think you will learn? You are seeing my slides, right? Yeah.
Okay, so this
Okay.
assignment, we have to send the answer to Dr. Navneet's email or his WhatsApp contact. So let me just drop the email in the chat box.
Yeah. It's basically you have to write down your name and your from which place you are, which city you are, and also what is your I mean 2 sentences or single sentence answer to this question about what you're going to learn in this whole course. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we move to the next part or how? Uh, are there any questions on this thing, or shall we move?
Did anybody have any question? You can use the chat button to drop your question.
Okay, so no questions, right? So they are saying,
No
okay,
question.
okay. So you can see my slides, right? This is, I think, the starting point, and what this is what we call the exercise zero or INITA assignment, initiation assignment. And once you have sent it to me, you also keep a copy with you. Of course, you will. And we will sort of look at this particular sentence that you have written for what you intend to learn in this course, and also compare something very similar when we complete this course after 8 weeks, sometimes in October, I think. And we'll do the same exercise, we call it the finita exercise or finita assignment, where we will ask you what have you learned. So when you compare what you have written just now versus what you will write in October, once you have finished this particular course or gone through this course, you will see the change that you have written, what you were expecting versus what you got. Okay, so that's the whole idea about this. Okay, so okay, shall we move on, Mr. Adibasi? Shall we move?
Yes, we can move.
Okay. Now, little bit about the world that we have and how do we look at this particular world that is continuously changing, as we said. And there is this concept called creative destruction. and in fact associated is a theory of waves of innovation in the world, and this was proposed and also coined. This term was coined by Joseph Schumpeter, who was an economist in Austria in somewhere around before Second World War. In 1930s, he sort of created this word called creative destruction based on the work of a Russian Kondratev, who proposed that, I mean, based on the data, he actually proposed, and he sort of said that after a few decades, the capitalistic system changes, and changes because of the internal creation of newer technologies. And what is the change? It basically replaces the existing economic system of creating value by newer economic system for creating value for the world at large through new technologies. And this he called, there is a simultaneous destruction and simultaneous creation that is going on during these particular phases. And during this particular phase of creative destruction, there are new technologies will come into picture and suddenly will start replacing the older technologies in a very, very big way. Even though the older system may be existing, it will become slowly and sometimes very rapidly, typically will be eliminated or destroyed, as it is called. So this he called the creative destruction. And then they said that we have seen multiple waves of innovation based on multiple creative destruction in the past. So we'll just look at this particular paper from Economist. This was published in 20th February
I'm in lobby.
1999. I
I'm
hope
in lobby.
yeah,
At Bolo.
I'm in lobby.
yeah.
Also,
Is there a question?
I repeated my surname again.
Hello? Is there a question?
There is no question. There is no
Okay.
question. I've muted the
Okay.
person.
Okay. Shall we start? Shall we continue?
Yes, we can continue.
Okay. So if you see this chart that is drawn from the Economist, the magazine called Economist from 1999, you can see that world has continuously going through what is called the Schumpeter's waves, and on the y-axis of, or on the this particular the vertical axis, you can see the pace of innovation, and you can also see what are the technologies in each of these waves that was driving the innovation. So it was water power, textiles, and iron from 1785 to 1845. That is the years, right? So about 60 years we had this first wave of innovation after the industrial revolution, as they call it, which was driven by water power, textiles, and iron, which was really the industry was focused, and the technologies were using iron and textiles, and of course water power from coming from water. And then the next phase, the next wave of innovation came, and you can see that pace of innovation, which is indicated by these waves, right? I mean, there are mounts of these particular waves rising and then going down. You can second wave started from 1845 to 1900, which was driven by steam and the railways and the steel. And as you can see, this is about 55 years from 1845 to 1900, year 1900, which gave way to the new wave of the third wave of innovation, as it is called. And this was driven by electricity, because humanity, or we discovered electricity and we utilized how to use electricity for our purpose, so to say. And as you can see, the technologies that were there before, steam, rail, steel, were slowly became more like the common technologies versus electricity, new chemicals, and something called internal combustion engine that came around 1900, which gave us a motor car, or the vehicle which is driven by these burning of fuel, or combustion of the fuel, or the oil, as it is called. So this gave us the third wave. In fact, 1900 to 1950, we had this third wave of innovation, as it is called. And if, of course, there was a creative destruction around 1900, which also create was created. It has all its own issues of the political as sociological, as well as the wars that we had between various countries, which is also the period from 1900 to 1950, which is third wave of innovation, as you can see. And in fact, the two world wars we had during this particular period, right, and the 50 years of the previous century, 1900 to 1950, which also had the third wave of innovation. Sometimes after Second World War, we had the new wave of innovation from 1950, which was driven by petrochemicals, electronics, and aviation. And of course, Second World War gave us newer ways of moving people through the air, which is or cargo also, which is the aeroplanes that we had. Right. This is the fourth wave of innovation that we had, as per this theory of Schumpeter's waves of innovation. And then the fourth wave sort of gave way to a new wave in 1990, which is driven by a new type of capability of writing instructions for the machines, which is software, and also digital networks and new media. Right, digital networks, the software, and new media, which gave us the fifth wave of innovation. And as per the article, because this was published in 1999, as I said, you can see this is the colored path here till 1999, and then they have this dotted line for the fifth wave of innovation, which is driven by digital networks, software, and new media. That was the new technologies that were creating new value. But you see, the dotted line is ending at around 2020, right? So this is where you can see the fifth wave of innovation is about 30 years. Fourth wave was 40 years. Previous waves were about 50, 55, and 60 years. So you can see that each wave is shrinking. It is becoming smaller and smaller. And this indicates the pace at which newer technologies are coming and replacing our existing world through this creative destruction seems to be rapidly increasing. I mean, the pace at which newer technologies are going to create new creative destructions are increasing. So we are in 2024 now, and that means we already are in the next wave of innovation if we go by this, right? So what is being driven? What are the new technologies that are driving the new way of creating value? That is a question that we need to answer. And what is this sixth wave? And let us say, looking at this trend, maybe it is going to be 25 years. 2020 to 2045, which is the time period that all of us will be exploring and creating value for our life, right? I mean, this is the next 25 years. So if we can get using this particular framework to see what are the possible technologies that are going to drive, we potentially can utilize those technologies for our work ahead, or in fact thinking about newer solutions to the problems that we are grappling with, right? So this is, I think, the question about what are these technologies that we should be looking at, because the world has been changing, as you can see, from water power, textiles, iron, to now, I mean, digital network, software, new media. This has been a huge change for from 1785 to 2020, which is about the last 200, 300 years, right? I mean, approximately that is the time frame that we are seeing. And if that is what we are seeing, next 25 years, what will be these technologies? So this is what we actually studied. What are the new technologies using the inventions and patent trends that we have? And this is what we found in our research of what will be these technologies which are going to define the next 25 years, which we call the sixth wave of innovation. And as you can see, very similar to that sort of a curve that is there in the Economist article, right? I mean, very similar to this curve, we can actually look at what will be these technologies. And here we found that what human beings are doing, what we are doing in the world that we have, is we are making things at the smallest level, which is the nano level, 10 to the power of minus 10 millimeter or meter. That is the type of ability that we are bringing to the world at the smallest level, at the nano level. That is, the things are there which are functional, we are making machines at the nano level, we are making materials at the nano level. We are also making things network with each other so that they can exchange information and also they can exchange certain functionality with each other. We are making them autonomous. We are giving them some sort of intelligence to operate in a changing world around them on their own. That is the autonomy that we are bringing to them, right? We are making them very, very high speed, hypersonic speeds, which is 5 times plus the speed of sound. So we had the supersonic speed, I mean, aeroplanes that you have seen, which is the speed of sound that it flies above the speed of sound, right? The fighter planes today are 3.2 Mach sound, I mean, flying speeds. But hypersonic will be, or it's already there, about more than 5 Mach or 5 times speed of sound. In fact, 5 to 25 times speed of sound, right? So we are making things nano, networked, autonomous, and hypersonic is one particular trend for the next 25 years. It will be driven by how we are changing, how we compute. The computing itself is changing with respect to how we were computing earlier. As you can see, in the earlier we had this software, new media, digital networks, the fifth wave. The sixth wave is really about what we call the intelligent computing or the algorithmic intelligence that we already are harnessing, which is AI, machine learning, and the buzzwords that you have seen, which will also be aided by what is called quantum computing ahead, which is not far. Next 4 to 5 years, we will see more and more of quantum computing coming into the mainstream, and this is going to drive the innovation capability that means at the quantum level, at a level which is at the nano level, or in fact much smaller level, the effects that the physics that is there, it changes. As you may know, the quantum computing or quantum physics is very different than the classical physics that we see around us, and there the effects are very different, and also the type of thinking that is required will be very different. So what these two trends are giving us is new abilities to synthesize biology, energy, and reality itself. We have this virtual reality concepts, we have this fake reality also, and also this hybrid reality where we can animate, we can create multiple type of figures, and in fact the realistic type of animated pictures and also moving pictures as if the real person is moving. We can create the fake profiles, and fake news also is there. That is the type of reality that we have. Interestingly, we can synthesize new biology also. We can also synthesize new ways of energy or creating new energy. And in fact, we are trying to find out how to do artificial photosynthesis on our own rather than giving it to the plants, which is the natural process that we get oxygen from, right? I mean, that is the whole process of how to get energy from these new ways. So if you see, next 25 years are going to be very, very different than the previous 30 years as we have seen. And in that context, we need to really operate towards this sixth wave of innovation, as we call. And how do we really think about it? And here we will need to look at a little bit about getting involved in this whole process. And I will refer to this book by Taleb, Nassim Nicholas Taleb, which is called The Skin in the Game. He says there is no evolution without the skin in the game. What he means is we need to put in our own effort to develop these technologies as well as use these technologies for solving problems that we are facing. In fact, there can become a new way to solve problems that we have, or even the old or new problems can be solved with new technologies in new ways. And that, I think, is the key message here. If you get skin in the game, that means you put your investment in terms of your effort to think about newer technologies and how to apply these new technologies for solving problems. You potentially will have higher potential to create value. So he also says in the same book that those who talk should do, and only those who do should talk. So I think obviously from our lesson for this is that we need to become doers because before we can start talking about what we have done. And it's very similar to our a whole journey of simpleton becoming a scientist, then you become a saint, right? I mean, that's what we said. Okay, so if you look at this whole gamut of changes that we are seeing, the next 25 years, from if you accept these inputs from our research, will be making things network, autonomous, nano, hypersonic. Newer computing will be through algorithmic intelligence and quantum computing, which will give us new ways to synthesize biology, energy, and reality. Right. So this, if you see now, is our core or the basic raw material that we need to explore and think about. Okay. Uh, any questions on this? Any questions or points?
If you have any question, kindly unmute yourself and tell us what your questions are, or you can use the chat button. Okay,
If there is a
not
question,
yet.
if there is a question here, can I see here or in the chat box? No, it will not come here, right?
There is no question for now.
Okay. Okay, so we will start the second part. We'll come to this definition later, but we'll do a small exercise now before we come to this part about what are these projects that we will do. And the exercise is to look at this picture. Can you see the picture?
Yes, yes.
Okay. The exercise is in next 2 to 3 minutes, write down as many funny captions on this picture as you can, and the number of funny captions is important. How many number of captions, funny captions you can write, is what we need to figure out. Okay, so we'll give you 2 minutes, and then we can sort of look at how many funny captions we have.
Okay. This exercise should we also send it to your mail?
No, no, not required. It is for us to discuss actually.
Okay.
Okay. But can we discuss? Can they speak? And can I hear them? No.
Hello, Sharon.
Hello,
Yeah.
can
So
you
you
hear
are
me?
free to talk. I can hear you, but you can speak a little bit louder.
Oh, okay. So I think the caption that is coming to my mind is karma. I don't know. It's
No, no, you need to write down these. Okay, it is good. Karma is good, right? Karma, you said?
yes, yes.
Very nice. So, but you need to write down the numbers are important, as I said, right? Number of captions that you need to write. So we need to write many captions, as many as you can. It is not what is not important is that the quality of these captions. What is important is how many you write. How many you have written? You just said karma, right? But how many you wrote? How many different funny captions you wrote?
Dr. Navni, there's a question from
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. Can
There's
you
a
speak
question
or
from
it's written
Are
somewhere?
there study materials available on
Okay.
this new tech we'll be experiencing? Are there study materials available?
Yes, I am going to share all the slides to Madam Adibisi. She can share, right? I mean, you can share, Madam.
Yes, I'll forward it to the
Yes,
platform.
I will. Yeah, I will send it. All the material that I have will be shared. I'll send it over email to Caroline and Adibisi, and then they can send, including the Excel sheets and the Word document that I have. Also, will share. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. People have done the writing of the captions. I think we are 2 minutes. You have completed the assignment, right? Is there a person, is there anyone who has about 20 captions who has written in 2 minutes? Can you raise or how do you talk to you? I am not able to see anyone, but maybe you can chat. Shall I write here?
Okay, there is a caption coming up. Okay, share it with us. Um, Somebody shared in the YouTube that a bird swallowing a frog. A frog grabs the
Okay,
neck. A frog grabs the neck of the
okay,
bird. So the bird was unable to swallow from the from the mouth again any longer. I think that was
okay,
others are still coming in.
okay. Somehow I'm not able to see the YouTube comments, right? It's not there here. Okay, I'm not able to see the YouTube comments. Maybe I need to
Yes.
log in there. I need to log in to the YouTube, or how do I see those comments?
No,
Okay,
you cannot log
uh,
into the YouTube now.
okay, oh, okay, fine. Okay, so maybe you can translate. I mean, you can tell me what are the numbers, right? So the idea here is to look at the numbers, right? The quantity of ideas. And of course, most of you have about how many is the maximum? Is there someone who can sort of type what is the maximum that you got? Anyone got more than 15 captions written? Maybe Adibisi can tell.
Yes, some are still trying to type their answer to the
Oh, okay, okay,
question.
okay.
Maybe later.
Basically, how many? How many is the question? I mean, not about the specific ones, the number. How many numbers each person has written? That is the question. I'm more
Okay,
interested in two,
two question.
two captions, right? Two captions
Yeah,
people have
sorry,
written.
yeah.
Okay, so two in 2 minutes. Anyone has more than two? Typically, when we do it in a
Okay,
classroom, sorry,
Sharon, do you
five,
have more? Okay, Sharon said she has six. Okay, can you
six.
share
Yes,
it with
very
us?
nice.
I think you can see it from
Okay, so we have about six also, right? I mean, six and seven, right? Okay, six. Yeah, Sharon, I can see six, right? Sharon, okay, great. Anyone else has more than six also? So the idea here is to look at the numbers, right? And also the type of captions that we have. Obviously, this sort of exercise we do not do in our daily life also. So we maybe we can sort of claim that why we stopped at six, whereas we could have done higher numbers, right? I mean, why not we have more than 20 or 15, 20, more than 10? I mean, why this number stops, right? So this question is important from the perspective of our human mind. Our human mind has a very peculiar type of a problem. Can you see my slide? Next slide. Magic number seven. Can you see
Yes.
this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is from a paper by George Miller, written in 1956, and a very very important paper which says magical number 7 plus or minus 2. Now this is our limits to our capacity for processing information. Now, if you really see, this is a very interesting paper which says that our mind cannot distinguish more than 7 plus minus 2 things at the same time. So when the ability to distinguish in our mind different concepts, right, different concepts which are different from each other, is reaches to about 7, we it becomes very difficult to distinguish these concepts about with each other. That's why we have these 7 colors, Vibgyor. We have these seven notes, musical notes also, if you know. We have taste also. We have different type of uh, I mean, even the days of the week also are 7. So you can see that the 7 number keeps on coming repeatedly in our way in which we organize things and which we understand. So this is our limit to keep the ideas in our mind also. I mean, as you can see, because after about 7, our mind will stop or start repeating the same captions again and again. So that is where the limit is reached. So typically you will get maybe 9, 10 is the maximum that we will reach when we are asked to do this exercise of funny captions, right? So if you want to do this, you can repeat offline also this exercise and see how many you get, or maybe ask your friends or maybe your brothers or sisters to do this exercise and see how many they get in 2 minutes. And if you really see, you will be able to get this number 7 plus minus 2. I mean, 5 to 9 will be their typical captions that you will see, right? So this limit is where we have this particular problem. So in this scenario, and we have said that innovation is about ideas. So if we have to generate a lot of ideas need to be generated, right, for innovation. That's the assumption. If you really want to look at how to do that, you have this particular problem of we have this distinguishing various concepts, but between 5 to 9 is our limit of processing information, as well as processing our mind to process different concepts or distinguish different concepts, right? So, in fact, this was the actual original caption. Never ever give up to this particular picture. So, I hope someone would have got this also. Never ever give up. Anyone got this? Anyone wrote this? Never ever give up in your. Can you write? No. Okay, Sharon got 10. By the way, okay, that's I am just reading the message. So 10 is a good number. So you got this original caption, never ever give up. Is there anyone who wrote like this? Who had this caption? No.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, wow. Okay, very good. Never give up. Excellent. So you were able to pinpoint the original, so to say, you were able to solve the problem. But our problem was not to find the actual caption, it was about how many we generate. So that is where our limit of processing and also creativity, so to say, has this sort of a processing limit and distinguishing capability issue, right? Now, if that is the case, how do we really generate ideas? I mean, that seems to be a little bit of a issue with all of us, because ideas are required as we get into this definition of innovation that we said is successful creation of change through ideas, and ideas are required. How do we generate ideas? And then comes the question about thinking about the problem. Albert Einstein was asked about what really was really the key to developing his theory of relativity. That he basically said the figuring out how to think about the problem was more important than any other science or any other type of knowledge that is required. How to think about the problem. and figuring out how to think about problem, how to figure out how to think about the problem, right? So it is sort of a meta skill about looking at the system or the situation in multiple ways, is what we are looking at in terms of an idea, so to say. Okay, and in that context, if you see the world at large ahead, okay, how fast, I mean, the competitive advantage is a word that we keep on using. How do we compete? Because ultimately there are limited resources, there are limited ways to explore the world, and also limited opportunities, so to say. But how do we really compete, and what is called the competitive advantage in business world also, and also in general, what is your competitive advantage? What is it that you have which really give you a sort of uh, a some sort of a few steps ahead than the others, right? So earlier, when the world was much more simpler, we had how much agricultural land and natural resources we have, and that of course we'll use for our competitive advantage. Then became how much we can manufacture, how much we can produce, new type of tools, techniques, and methods and products. Obviously, how many you can produce in a factory or in a mechanized manner. Then came how much and how quickly you can be informed. Information, how quickly the information about different things can reach you. Then we said that how much actionable knowledge we have. And then now last 20 25 years or so, we are seeing how fast you innovate, and now we are in a age where how fast you co-create with everyone else. So it is very interesting and very useful to understand the competitive advantage will come through very quick collaboration towards creating new. So people with whom you are working, they are your collaborator. You need to co-create with them, and then if you can co-create with multiple inputs from each other, and of course develop this ideas that we have, as we have seen, we have this limit of 7 plus minus 2, and so if you are 7 plus minus 2 and other 7 plus minus 2 combined together, you will get about 20, right? I mean, if you combine to get 2 or 3 persons together, their ideas can be about 20 25. And this way, if you have more number of ideas, more number of people working with you, you have more ideas potentially, because you can leverage their 7 plus minus 2 mind also to look at the world at large in different ways. So number of ideas are important, and also then comes the question of how we generate solutions to the problems, and we need to identify and think about the problems, as we said, right? Now it is becoming very very important now, specifically in the sixth wave of innovation, as we said, because what can impact us, the whole world, we do not know, and the unpredictability and uncertainty is actually much more today because of the interconnectivity of the world at large, right? So he says, Talib says in the book Black Swan, he says, I cannot accept a pretense of science. I much prefer a sophisticated craft focused on tricks to a failed science looking for certainties. So this is what Taleb says in Black Swan. In fact, he has an earlier book called Fooled by Randomness also, which basically is saying that certainty of the world is gone. I mean, we are going to live in a world which potentially cannot be predicted. I mean, you cannot say that this is the next day will be exactly like this. And of course, it has never been the case. But now the pace at which these changes are impacting us will be much faster, much more rapid. And therefore, the certainty that we were considering to be at least a norm is will not be the case. In fact, it is increasing more and more as we move into the sixth wave of innovation ahead, as you can see. And then he says systems that become stronger under stress in his book called Anti-Fragile, where he says a very important point that is there. He says, which he calls the Soviet Harvard illusion, which is lecturing birds on flight and thinking that the lecture costs their skill at flying. Okay, this is of course is the illusion, right? We illude, there is an illusion that because I'm teaching you this how to innovate, how to generate ideas, therefore you will be able to learn. I need to be without this illusion that my lecture will not have much impact on what you can do. You are naturally innovators. Only thing is, we need to give you these inputs about that you can naturally think and generate ideas because you are the birds who can fly, right? And our lectures will not help you, uh, definitely not aid your natural thinking. Only thing is we can help you to maximize your natural ability to generate ideas. So with that, we can look at how the world has changed, what are the things that are changed. But let us look at one study that was done in terms of the ideas, because we just talked about the ideas, right? How many non-obvious ideas are needed for a successful product ahead? Now, this question is a very interesting question that has been studied by a couple of authors, Stevens and Burley. They sort of said in 1997, it was published in Management uh, Journal, which Stephen and Burley's paper. He says about 3,000 raw ideas are required to make one successful product in the world. And this is an interesting point that we are looking at 3,000 raw ideas, out of which 300 were submitted in a company, and then 125 small projects came into picture. Nine significant developments came, and then four major developments, and about 1.7 launches in the world, and also one success out of that game. So 3,000 raw ideas is what he has in 1997. Now we are in 2024, and if you really sort of look at how many ideas are required today, how many non-obvious ideas are required to make one successful product, and definitely it will be much more. And the potential for you to do that is becoming more and more difficult, because many of those ideas will be available and will be generated by the world at large, because the technologies and the connectivity and the information to the problems are available to with everyone. So today we cannot think that we are sitting in a particular country, and we are local, and we will be looking at our problems and we will be solving our problems. No, someone sitting in maybe 6,000 miles away from you can solve your problem, and he may impact your problem by producing a new product, because the information that is available to world at large is much faster and much more richer. I mean, about you and your context is available. Similarly, for you, also the information about the world is available. What are the key problems the world is trying to figure out is available to you, provided we look at those problems, right? So we should not take the limits of our vision for the limits of the world. That means if we think that we are only going to look at this, it is not that everyone is going to look at this. Arthur Schopenhauer is a philosopher. This quote is from him. Everyone takes the limits of his own vision for the limits of the world, which is definitely incorrect, because the world has no limits, because the infinite number of minds will be looking at. I mean, 8 billion people are available on earth. Each one of them can actually explore and work towards what is happening, right? So one way to generate more ideas, as we might have, some of us may know, is called brainstorming. Storming, bringing multiple people, as I was saying, together to do think about a problem and generate ideas or solutions to a particular problem. But here, one study was done in US military, where they mapped the brainstorming output with the average IQ of the group that was doing the brainstorming. And you can see that we have not only the brainstorm, but we also have the negative results of brain rain, brain shower, brain drizzle, brain mist, brain cloud, drought, and brain dead also, right? You can see the negative results of brainstorming is also possible, where people can fight with each other or get into fights with each other just by ego and something. So it is quite possible that when you bring together people who are not really open to discuss, they are having their own way of saying, or the egos, and also looking at very specific way of looking at things, that also can result. Whereas the other possibility is that storm can become a burst, can become a brainado or brainican like a hurricane. And this was published, this study was published, and you can see that it depends upon average IQ. Now, intelligence quotient is what they have considered, but this average IQ is also how much open the group is to think about it, right? So we need to bring multiple people to work together, thinking that the openness, synergy, and creative tension will produce many useful ideas, which is basically some sort of a approach, a line of research, or a suggested potential solution to the problem. Okay. Of course, negative results of a brainstorming session, as I said, are possible, as we may get into a brain sump or a brain hole compared to thinking that we are going to have a storm of ideas, which typically may not result, right? So, how to think for innovative ideas is one sort of a basic point. Now, I must say that we need to now look at from the point of view of small exercise that we should do. Now, here is another type of a problem that we have, and this is just do a small thought experiment, I would say, about what happens to our knowledge when we have so much of knowledge of the past success. So assume we have a large field, a big field, say a football field or a sports field, and somewhere hidden inside that field, underground, there is a box of diamonds. Okay, and problem solving or ideation is digging for these treasures in the field, so to say. Now the problem is that if so, what happens if there is a hole in that particular field? Our tendency is to go towards that hole and dig deeper that hole. I mean, keep on digging more and more in the same ditch that is already been dug by someone else. The deeper the hole, that if we have someone has dug it very deep, the deeper the hole, the more difficult it is to see what's happening in the other parts of the field. Okay, and more difficult is that if someone else comes along, instead of trying to listen to someone else's thought or idea, we encourage them to jump in the hole with us. Actually, it is basically called, this whole effect is called psychological inertia of core competence. More competent, more successful we are, more experienced we are, less likely for us to think in new ways. That's why I was saying that the new generation or the young people potentially do not have this psychological inertia. Therefore, you can think about newer creative ideas much more better because you are not having any sort of a notion of the past successes, so to say, right? So, in that context, we should understand one particular type of psychological processes that we use. Our language also we use to kill ideas. So, if you have new ideas, typically most of us will use these phrases. So 40 of these phrases are written here. This, of course, is called the killer phrases. It kills the ideas before it is born. Okay, so we need to learn not to use these killer phrases. Typically, for the first one is yes, but. For example, if I tell you an idea, or someone, your friend tells you an idea, and or in a group there is an idea that someone is telling, so the other guy will say yes, I like your idea, sort of, right? I mean, the person who has uttered the idea will think that yeah, he is accepting my ideas, but then he says but, and then when he says but, he basically speaks his idea, which is very different from whatever the earlier idea was. So basically you have killed the original idea to utter something else, totally different one. Typically a boss in a big group will use this particular phrase, and surprisingly we ourselves will use these killer phrases in our ideation, if you may. Yes, but we tried that before. All these are available as from a book called What a Great Idea from 1992 by Chick Thompson. So anyway, these slides will be available to you. You should use this particular slide to not to use these phrases in your ideation. Okay. So this is our challenge. how do we generate new ideas given that we have a problem is we have this 7 plus minus 2 issue, which is the magic number. Before, beyond that we cannot generate. Our mind sort of locks onto that 7 plus minus 2, right? Then we have these problems of uncertainty, problems of core competence, also the problems that we discussed of about how we kill ideas and the psychological inertia of our competence, how competent we are. So, given this whole problem of generating new ideas, you can now sort of see how difficult it is to innovate, right? And this is where our exercise of first week is to really uh, come out of psychological inertia, which is the quick innovation project that I said that we'll do. And in that quick innovation project, we will use one specific uh, Excel sheet, which I will share, okay, with you. But let me show you first the Excel sheet, and then maybe you can see this exercise that we have to do, which is what we call what you have observed in the raw changes that you have observed in the world. Can you see my Excel sheet? No. Is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So you can see, so the first exercise, first part of this sheet is you write down what you have observed in last 5, 10, 15 years, what has changed. Okay, what do you think, or what do you have you observed that has changed compared to 5, 10, 15 years back, or maybe whatever time frame that you have? What are the key changes that you have in the past that you have observed, right? So this is where you need to write down these changes, the macro changes that you have observed in the past last 20 years, 10 years, or 5 years. And once you have written these changes, right, then you write down what you envisage will happen in next 5, 20, 5, 10, 15 years. So we can actually see 2025, we can change it to maybe 2025, 2030, right? Okay. So now this is the exercise that I'm going to request you to do before our next meeting, which is on Friday, I think, right? It is on Friday. We our
Friday,
next class will
yes.
be on Friday. Yeah. So before that, if you could do this exercise, which I'm going to share this assignment, each one of you can do what changes you have observed in the past last 5, 10 years, that you can write here on this column, and what you envisage in the next 5 to 10 years, or maybe let us say I'll just add 2035. What you think will how the world will change? You are seeing this group one, group two, group three, but you can individually you can do if you want, or you can also say that I am looking at a particular dimension. What are the changes that we are seeing, or some other dimension, whatever that also you can do. So, but you need to do this assignment, and there is some sort of a older examples that were done in the past exercise that we have. If you want to use that, I can share with you these also. And I'll keep this just for your reference, but this is what you need to fill, right? So I'm going to share this. The sheet that you have to fill is what are the changes that you have observed in the past that you can write down. This is definitely that is known to you, right? What changes you have seen, how the world has changed for you as per your view, and no need. We are not looking at whether it's true or what is the correct path. There's nothing like correct. It is your view of how what changes you have seen in last 5 to 10 years or 15 years, if you have what changes you have seen, which is the first column here, right? Today's world compared to previous world, what has changed, right? This is what you have to write, and based on these changes that you will see, what you envisage will change ahead in the next 5, 10, 15 years. What will change ahead? Okay, what are the changes that you're seeing? If you do this mapping, this particular exercise, you will be able to see the trends that you are observing, and we are not looking at whether these are right or wrong, but this is the exercise that we have to do. Okay, so this is one tool that I'm going to share. I'll send it to Adibesi, and she will share with you and upload. Second tool is what we call a small document, which we call the graffiti idea journal. And this I would request you to use. Can you see the word document? Is it visible, right?
Microsoft Word, yes.
Okay. So this is called an idea journal, and which I will request all of you can maintain. And it's just a printout of this sheet, and you can Uh, just there are 5 questions that each day we have for each idea, about 150 words that we need to write. And I would request you to use your pencil and write it by hand on your notebook if you have. And the questions are, what is the idea that you have? Because all of us have those ideas, right? We'll talk about what is the idea before we close the class today. But what is that idea that you have? And in your view, how it is different from what is existing, then how it is better or how it is more beneficial compared to what is existing, and how future proof it is. That means, are there any other better ways that you can envisage to do what that idea does, and is it solving a problem that your idea that you have, which problem it is solving. And if you want to draw your idea, you can draw this. So every day you can do this. This particular journal is about 1 week, so you will every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you do this. And on Saturday, you actually combine all those ideas that you have on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You write down the name and also look at which idea is interesting, and also say that, can I make it more interesting? And once you're done that, you can sort of say, can some of these ideas be modified, updated, expanded? Can they be combined in some way? And can you imagine some new ideas out of this? Is what. So based on this, you make a rough sketch on Saturday, and on Sunday you write the final idea of the week that you have. This can become our quick innovation project when we actually look at how to solve these problems. So in the part of this process, I'm going to share with you the Excel sheet that you have, that I discussed, this Excel sheet that I have, right? Which is the how the world will change and how it will change. This will give you some view about how the world you are envisaging, and then the idea journal that you can utilize for your ideation. Okay, so this will be the exercise that we will request you to do towards your quick innovation project. And before we close the discussion today, we'll also talk about something called what is an idea. Okay, so that I think maybe we need to explain the point about what is the definition of idea. Okay, and here I think just one point about ideas. Ideas are thoughts, right? All of us have thoughts, but all thoughts are not ideas, right? I mean, all of us, you will agree that some of the thoughts are ideas. So ideas are defined as those thoughts that germinate some sort of a change around us, right? And if you now tie with the definition of innovation, which was successful creation of change, needed change through ideas is our definition of innovation. So ideas are those thoughts that bring in the genesis of change. It germinate, it gives you a seed of change in your mind. It is not the complete change, but you have sort of observed that this is what we need to do, or we can do. Can we do this? That is the thought, right? The question about can we do it is the starting point of your idea, and that is what we are calling the raw ideas, right? The raw ideas happen to the human mind, that can happen to the human mind in a serendipitous manner, uh, they of course do not happen just like that. You need to be prepared to look at those thoughts which will germinate those changes, right? That means you need to observe the world around you, which is what we are saying. If you observe the changes that you have seen in the last 10 years, you will get a sort of a sense of, okay, this is the world, that is how it has changed. Therefore, next 10 years, maybe this is how the world will change. And in that process, what is the thought that can come which will germinate change? So, the first do the Excel sheet of what has changed to what will change as the first exercise, and then use this idea journal to generate and capture your ideas is the second part. Okay, so these are two exercises that we will do in the part. First is the Excel sheet that I have, which I already will share. Uh, this one, and the second is the idea journal that I showed you as our Word document. Okay, so this is the second part. These two exercises we will do as homework. Writing this idea journal, writing these ideas that comes to you in your mind. If you do not have a printout, I mean you do not cannot take the printout, you can at least see the five questions, five bullet points that we have for each, and you can write it in a notebook about these are my ideas that we have. Similarly, if you do not have the Excel sheet, do not worry, you just need to write down what changes you have observed in your notebook last 10 years and what you envisage will be your next 10 years or next 5 to 10 years. What you think how the world will change, what will change for you are the two exercises that we need to do. Okay, so at this point, I'll share these slides, these PowerPoint slides as a PDF maybe, and also this Excel sheet, also the Word document, and maybe when we meet on Friday, we may have some sort of inputs from you, and you can then maybe you can send me over the email that I've already shared. Let me reshare my email. It's there in the sheet, right? I mean, in the first sheet it was there. So you have my email, right? My email and my
Yes.
number. Yeah. So you can use that. This is there. Yeah. Okay. So at this point, if you have any questions, we have about 5 minutes to close. Any questions or any comments on any doubts? If you can ask me now, or if you think it will be more easier for you to ask, you can send it as a email or even WhatsApp. Also, I have given my WhatsApp number to you, and I will respond to you. Okay. So any questions you have? Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Navni. Yes, there is a question coming from the YouTube channel. The question is, are we going to be put in a group for
What is that group?
projects?
Or maybe in a WhatsApp group? Oh, okay, projects. It is up to you to form your groups, I think. If you have your friends, you can work together. And I mean, if you live nearby, for example, or if you are from the same college, you can form a group. But maximum two or maximum maybe three students together, not more than that. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for your time, for the information. Like, I'm really learning. I've learned a lot today. Yes, I've been able to learn about the importance of collaboration and brainstorming together. That if a person do it alone, it may not really bring out the best results. But when more than one person comes together to collaborate to brainstorm idea, the more people come together to share their ideas, the more innovative and creative their idea becomes. So this is a whole lot of lesson. Then I want to ask another question about the assignments. So are we going to, you've given us two assignments now. Are we going to
Yeah.
send all the answers to your email, or
Yes.
how?
Yes,
Okay.
all the emails you can send me. Or if you want any doubts, you can ask me on the WhatsApp also. But email is, I think, the preferred mode of receiving your answers. I'm going to share these Excel sheet, these Word document, and the PowerPoint presentation with Caroline and Adibisi, and maybe they can share with all of you, right?
Yeah, just one more thing. I don't know if you're able to hear
Okay,
me,
thank you
Adibisi.
very much.
Yeah, I can hear.
I can
I
hear
can.
you.
Yeah, I think this was just absolutely brilliant. What I have taken away very profoundly is the attitude, the inner soul attitude that we carry, and the energy that we exude. Comes forward when we are doing this kind of work, when we are thinking through creatively, when we are collaborating with pure intention. These are some things that have really emerged through this presentation for me personally, which I thought was very profound. And really want to thank you on behalf of this collaboration itself, for sparing this time and being able to share this with us today. I think, regarding the interaction, we'll have to figure out Zoom so that people can ask questions and be
Yeah,
seen, and also talk to you directly.
yeah.
The RDBC, brilliant work as always on leading this ship, and everyone listens to you. So thank you so much for holding forth for us today.
You're welcome. So I have another question for
Yeah.
Dr. Naveneet. The assignments, when is the deadline for submission? Is it on Friday
Before
or
Friday. If you can send it before Friday, it will be great. But so that I can at least review it, right? I mean, that's at least look at that. But try to send it by Thursday or early morning Friday from our point. I don't know what sort of time difference we have, but for you, it may be late night Thursday. I think should be the deadline.
okay? Okay. Thank you so
I
much,
mean,
sir.
I mean, no one is going to die if you don't send, of course. I mean, it's not a deadline from that perspective. Okay. But having said that, it will be good if I can get it by Thursday so that we get a sense of what you are thinking, right? Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We will
Yes,
try.
and
We will
one more
try.
thing to everyone who is watching in and will be watching in. We have the session tomorrow, 1.5 hour earlier. That is Dr. Kwame's session, which starts tomorrow. So I think RDBC will share that in the Slack. Please go check it out so that we can also launch that program tomorrow as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Caroline, for that. So tomorrow we are going to be using another platform. So there will be an opportunity for you to have interaction. And if you have not filled the registration form, because we only share the new platform, which is the Zoom link, to those who have signed up for the registration form only. So if you have not filled the registration form, kindly sign up and fill the form so that you can get the notification when we are starting tomorrow. So did anyone have any feedback to share? Sharon, do you have anything to say? I'm seeing Faith. Do you have any feedback to share? What are your key
Oh,
takeaways?
oh, okay. So I think I learned a couple of things.
Can you
I
please
think
speak louder? We can't hear you very well.
okay, so I think it was Caroline, sorry, she was like collaboration is the way. So that was something I kind of took from today's presentation. And thank you very much. It was a very nice presentation too as well.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, Faith, do you have anything to share with us? Hello, Faith. Okay. In the absence of none, I think this is how we are going to wrap it up for today. So thank you very much, Dr. Nadine. We look forward to meet you on Friday and hopefully we'll submit the assignment before before our meeting on Friday and the classes on
Yes,
Friday.
I have one email I have already received from Sharon. Sharon, I have already received. Thank you, Sharon.
Sharon,
I,
thank you for being active, Sharon.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
so all right, so until Friday, so see you later then. And all other notification will be shared through the Slack community and through the email. So
yes.
have a great day. Bye for now.
Thank
Bye.
you. See you tomorrow. Bye. Thank you.